Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about cinnamon tisane or cinnamon tea. Now before we begin, I recommend you check out our back catalog of episodes, in particular our playlist on what is tea, what's the difference between green tea, black tea, white tea, how should you steep your tea, and so forth. Now cinnamon tea is many people's favorite tea. Now as we talked about before, really you should only use the noun tea when it talks about infusions that come from the Camellia sinensis plant or the tea plant. So that's going to be dark tea, black tea, green tea, yellow tea, and so forth. So when we talk about herbals, really the correct word to use are tisanes, not really herbals, because lots of times these herbal drinks we drink aren't herbs. They're, let's say, the flower or the root of something. Cinnamon, though, and we'll just, for all intents and purposes, we'll call it cinnamon tea. Cinnamon is a very popular tea, and this is one of those, as I've mentioned in past episodes, where you always have to be careful of the ingredients that you're drinking. I've mentioned how, like, if you go to a tea store and they have like a double dark chocolate s'mores peanut butter coconut black tea, just know that there's a lot of artificial flavors that they put in there to kind of mimic the taste of that, similar to what you see in scented candles. And so cinnamon is probably the most famous of the teas that they definitely will add stuff to adulterate it. So you're not going to get lots of times pure cinnamon tea. What you'll get is cinnamon spiced tea. So if you look on the back, like anytime you see something that says cinnamon spiced, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's going to be naturally put with cloves and cardamom, kind of like you see with a masala chai, or what we call here in America a chai. And sometimes it's going to be like a cinnamon spice tea will be with black tea and then cinnamon, cardamom, and like a chai. Other times, if it's called cinnamon spice, look on the back, because it might be cinnamon and then it's going to have artificial flavors. So when you're drinking cinnamon tea, you want to get something that's just cinnamon. And if it has natural cloves or nutmeg or something, that's fine. But you want to be very careful that you're getting natural cinnamon. Now, cinnamon, there's two types. There's Ceylon cinnamon, which is the higher quality, what they call true cinnamon, and then there's cassia cinnamon, which is kind of the lower grade cinnamon. So most of the cinnamon that people are exposed to, if you're just buying regular cinnamon, spice, so to speak, at the grocery store, you're going to be getting cassia. So in general, if you're using a lot of cinnamon in your life, which I recommend you do, because cinnamon is very healthy for you. It's a natural antimicrobial, so it fights against infections. It helps lower high blood pressure, so it's a natural way to lower your blood pressure. It helps with people who are diabetic, and that it helps regulate blood glucose levels. And it's a natural sweetener. So if you're somebody who's pre-diabetic or diabetic and you're looking for something to sweeten your food, but you don't want to be using sugar and, heaven forbid, any of the artificial sweeteners, then cinnamon is great. The thing I would tell you to do is I would go to your local store or wherever you're going to buy these things and get Ceylon cinnamon. Now, when it comes to cinnamon tisane or cinnamon tea, there's different varieties. Most of the time when you're getting cinnamon tea, it's going to be like the crush, tear, curl version of black tea. If you ever open a sachet or tea bag of cinnamon tea, and I'll show you a picture of it in a second here, it's going to be all crumbled up, right? It's low grade garbage. So that's not what you want. What you want is cinnamon sticks that have been cut up. So we know you've seen cinnamon sticks. These are commonly used. A lot of people will get them and then shave them to get some cinnamon off of it. There's a variety of ways that you can get that stick and turn it into something that you can ingest. Of course, you could just chew on and so forth, but I don't recommend that. And look, there are some dangers to having a lot of cinnamon. For one example, it can hurt your liver, but most of the dangers of cinnamon is A, it's the cassia cinnamon, which is the lower grade cinnamon, and B, you have to have large amounts of cinnamon that you're taking in. So if you're doing Ceylon tea, Ceylon cinnamon tea, or Ceylon cinnamon that you're sprinkling on your food or your baked goods, you really don't have to worry about that. So what we do is we offer a cinnamon that is cut up into quarter pieces. So I'll show a picture now, you can juxtapose the two. So this is what our tea looks like. It's cinnamon sticks. It's all natural, organic cinnamon sticks, and we cut them up into pieces because they're easier to infuse. When you have a larger surface area, they're just easier to infuse than putting long sticks and steeping those. And you can see in the picture how this is regular cinnamon from a tea bag. So I have an old cinnamon tea bag. I cut it open, pour the leaves, so to speak. And you can see, right, it's small, there's not a lot of it, and it's just a major difference. This is why you should, in my humble opinion, gradually move from the tea bags that you're drinking your tea and your herbals from and go to loose leaf tea because it's just better quality on all levels. So the thing about cinnamon tea, when you're drinking Ceylon cinnamon tea and it's just cinnamon tea or tisane in this case, understand it's going to have a much subtler taste. So if you're used to drinking cinnamon spice tea, the conventional grocery store tea, it's going to have a bolder taste because lots of times it's mixed with black tea, which is robust, plus all the fake flavors. So it's kind of like peanut butter. You know, when you go to the grocery store and sometimes they have the peanuts and you press the button and it breaks the peanuts and you get the natural peanut butter and you taste it and you're like, God, this is gross. Where's the sugar? You're so used to the sugar because it's been unadulterated. It's the same thing here. So understand when you buy our cinnamon tea, it's just cinnamon. So it's a very subtle cinnamon, very subtle. So you have to get used to that, but it's all natural. Now, how should you drink it? Well, boil it, full boil like all tisanes. You don't have to worry about it. It's not temperature sensitive. If anything with the tisanes, whether it be licorice, peppermint, the ones we sell here, anything you want to go too hot and not too cold because you want to definitely go full boil, 200 to 212. And like with our other products, one session is at least 3 steeps. So keep those leaves and then drink another cup, steep them for 3 minutes. Just do 3-minute rotations and do it at least 3 times before you throw them out. Cinnamon tea in closing is a great tea. It's got a great color. It's got a great smell. And again, with teas, feel the texture of the teas, smell the teas. Just it's a whole body, whole sense experience. And cinnamon's one of the best. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.